Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul here, bringing you another game. Oh, God, sorry. Anyways, this is Paul bringing you another game of StarCraft 2, and
This is Senex alongside forming a little bit of like the casting, like not quite Archon, but like add-on, something like
the
that.
casting add-on. I like it. Yes. Who's the add-on and who's the building?
It's a good question.
We'll leave that up. That'll be in our questions that we ask people later, if we ask any people
Indeed.
questions. Anyways, this is obviously, as you can see, a Protoss versus Zerg. Our Protoss player is indeed SaroVati, who we just interviewed, or actually just played the video of the interview. So, big shout out to SaroVati. Thanks for doing that interview for us, and you're totally the man. And why don't you go ahead and introduce our other player?
Our other player is Gosu TGun, spawning in the top right as the pink Zerg. Okay, obviously from team, it's Gosu.
Yeah, it's Gosu is an incredibly well-known team. I do believe that Doa is actually either on that team or works alongside them, because I know he's referred to as Gosu Doa there for a while. So, shout out to Gosu and shout out to Area 51, and good luck in this game.
Yeah, so one thing I just want to mention to everybody who is watching live right now, we are going to be doing a kind of question and answer segment after this series is complete. So start thinking up your questions, and we'll be heading on into the Wild West that is the current chat, and we'll be just kind of like finding out what you guys want to know about the tournament, about FRB in general, and we'll just be answering some questions there.
Yeah, so go ahead and be thinking those up. As we can see already here, SaroVati is trying to get a probe down there at not at his base, but at his Zerg opponent's base, and deny any kind of expansion that could happen. Of course, delaying that hatchery for the time being. It does look like Gosu TGun was able to micro quite successfully and keep the probe from denying that hatchery for any longer period of time.
Yeah, both of these players are going for very, very early expansions, though actually the Nexus first being the decision for SaroVati, as opposed to first getting it down that spawning pool just to be completely safe against any kind of cannon player, other things like that, which we've seen successfully done, unfortunately, earlier.
Yeah, most definitely. So, our Zerg player, you know, he could actually take advantage of the timing right here, but the buildings are being completed, and actually SaroVati just walls off completely, so I don't believe any Zerglings will be getting into here for any time soon.
Yeah, definitely a smart decision to do on a Nexus first play. This choke is very narrow on devolution, however it is supposed to be pronounced, though you do need to watch out for that little bit of backdoor rocks that does lead up into the natural. That would be another way for an early aggressive move by your opponent to try to get in and do a bit of damage if you're not paying attention.
Yes, indeed. So the thing is, though, I think it would be kind of easy to spot that, but, you know, it's quite possible that a Zerg player could go ahead and do that. I think if a Protoss has good scouting and makes use of the Zelnaga watchtowers, though, he will know if any kind of runaround's happening. Anyways,
and Gosu TGun is continuing to expand. However, he has planted down his third hatchery, which is definitely a good decision to do when you see your opponent forge fast expand, because you know that they're not going to be going for any aggression too early in the game.
Yes, indeed. So that third base, of course, is going up for our Zerg player, almost halfway finished right now, and is actually not chosen to get any gas yet, so he's not going to have speed, and he's not really going to have any kind of teching for a while. He can't even get a layer for, at least for just a little bit of time. And, okay, I was going to say, I hear some Zerglings attacking something. I couldn't figure out what it was. They're actually going for those destructible rocks, so it does look like our Zerg player may indeed intend on taking that mineral-only base. For those of you that have not seen this map, it is Devolution, and there's actually a mineral-only base on this map. I think that is just so cool. It doesn't have any gas whatsoever, and it only supplies the minerals to you.
Yeah, in order to kind of balance that out in the positions that are right near the center Zelnaga watchtowers, there are bases that actually have two Vespene geysers, two rich Vespene geysers, so you can get a huge amount of gas if you take those, but they are incredibly difficult to hold. It's very easy for your opponent to take advantage of the short rust distance between that and their own base to make sure that you're not able to hold that base for any length of time unless you've played incredibly well.
Yes, indeed. So it would be very nice to see a game that does actually make use of those effectively, but we'll see how this one does go. It does look like SaroVati is actually dropping down 4 more gateways, or yeah, he's dropping down 4 more gateways to make a grand total of 5 gateways, and may indeed go for a 2-base. Oh, actually, oh my god, that's so much more than 5. That's actually 6. 7. Okay, I'm just gonna no 6. I'm gonna stop counting because there's just so many. A ton of gateways. He's obviously gonna go for a 2-base push.
Yeah, there are 6 gateways already in production. However, the Overlord from TGun moving right in as those are being completed, getting total information on what his opponent is doing. He already has the Roach Warren under construction and the Lair on the way, because one of the best ways to deal with very large pushes from your opponent, just off of 2 bases, are Speed Roaches and Zerglings in the Zerg vs Protoss matchup.
Yes, indeed. So Gosu TGun is indeed going to know what's going to be coming up here, and we'll be able to prepare effectively already. We do see 3 roaches being produced by our Zerg player, making that 4, and no drones are being made right now. So he's going to be very well defended if he can get the right unit composition.
The Warpins have already started, though, taking down those back destructible rocks, trying to get himself a bit of positioning. Also planting down a very, very nice pylon that will allow him to warp into the high ground once he does have the vision up there. However, because it is right now a pure Zealot force, it's going to be very vulnerable against these roaches, who, so long as they have speed or on creep, or even better, both, can kite Zealots basically forever.
Yes, indeed. So these roaches are obviously going to do a ton of damage to these zealots who have actually chosen to go up towards the natural. Need to be careful about getting blocked there. And ooh, really nice force field. Going to keep the Zerg units down at the second base, whereas all the units actually up in the natural are going to be very vulnerable. And it looks like Gosu TGun is actually choosing to go for some drones right here. Or, I'm sorry, not Gosu TGun, but SaroVati is going for those drones.
Yeah, with some nice target fire, he was able to kill off those sentries that were blocking the ramp. There was a spawn of Zerglings right in the main. They were able to get in there and do some damage, though, as we see right now. The Zealots are actually getting some pretty good positioning on those roaches. The kiting not being quite as effective, and there is a pylon right in the base that's going up right now. If that finishes, it's going to be a really big problem for TGun, as just constant waves of reinforcements will be pouring directly into the main.
Yes, indeed. There are currently about 11 roaches in here, and they are doing a pretty good job at taking out zealots, but you know, our Zerg player needs to be careful about losing too many units. Protoss can reinforce very easily, as you can see with Warpins, and oh my god, this natural is in so much danger. It looks like SaroVati is not going to be able to take it out, but he was very close to taking out the second base of Zerg.
He also killed off the Roach Warren before it was able to complete Roach Speed. So right now there's really not going to be nothing except for Zerglings to deal with this attack, though it does look as though the aggression has basically stopped for the time being, warping in Stalkers at home in order to get Blink into play.
Yes, indeed. So it does look like SaroVati is targeting down that pylon up at his wall with the cannon. Yeah, I just thought that was funny for some reason to see him attacking his own structures. Anyways, so
TGun has just been—he's had perfect scouting this entire time. Like, he saw the second that front door was being knocked down, as you said, the pylon shooting to open the door, so he knows that his opponent can now move out with forces in his main. He sees the third going down, and he even got a pretty good scout of what was going on in the natural just a little while ago.
Oh man, and Gosu TGun just about ran a ton of Zerglings into the Protoss' army and almost got some really good surrounds there. Of course, he's going to wait for his roaches to get up here and may actually go for that third. He's going to take advantage of the timing that basically where you're building another base, you're going to be a little bit gimped on your army size. So TGun's trying to take advantage of that, and will he do so effectively? We'll just have to see. Moving these Zerglings in here to actually go straight down to the third base, whereas he's using his roaches to take out stalkers and the cannons that are being produced, moving his roaches back just a little bit, but the Zerglings are down there and do force the cancel on the third base. Excellent move there by Gosu TGun.
Yeah, he's continuing to just pour on this aggression. He knows that once his opponent was not able to kill him with that initial aggression, he's been put very far behind, and it's really starting to show in the supply tab. Just 77 supply for SaroVati against 114 from TGun, and the forces of TGun are just continuing to pour across the map. We're now up to 21 roaches and 32 Zerglings against just 10 stalkers and 4 sentries.
Yeah, TGun is just having some excellent positioning here and excellent reinforcing, moving in even more and more roaches as well as Zerglings, and actually it looks like he's either re-rallying and getting them all grouped up again, or he might actually go around and use those destructible rocks as an attack path behind the natural expansion. This is the one I'm talking about, sorry.
Not a problem, and he has moved up these Zerglings, but is now kind of posturing back with them. The Stalker force is starting to get pretty big with excellent
Oh.
micro. We might be able to deal with this, though. Unfortunately, the units of TGun getting in very, very close. There was a nice blink back there to keep them alive. However, the Zerglings are able to run right in and begin getting some pressure on their opponent. However, the force fields are able to keep the majority of the roaches at bay.
Yeah, our Zerg player needs to be really careful here. These force fields are just going so well for SaroVati. And wow, TGun might actually lose a lot more than he wants to. Oh my god, did he kill that Nexus? I did not see cancel. Did he kill it?
That was not a cancel. That was definitely not a cancel. However, this attack, despite that, has been kind of disastrous for TGun. He's now down to just 74 supply against the 99 of his opponent. As soon as SaroVati is able to get his forces across the map, he'll be able to really punish his opponent for just having a small army right now and trying to tech into Spire.
Yes, indeed. So SaroVati, he's decided to go around for a counterattack after the loss of units by TGun, and TGun has actually fallen quite far behind in supply. It's 74 supply versus SaroVati's 93. And SaroVati just kind of trying to decide if he wants to actually engage. Rather, he's just trying to catch these Zerglings that are moving so quickly. Really unfortunate for these Stalkers that, actually get a good blink, but they're not quite fast enough to catch them.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has by now probably missed his timing. SaroVati, despite still being up in supply, his opponent has just been pumping Zerglings, and because of his very consistently strong macro, is now up to 67 Zerglings against this relatively small Protoss force, at least until these Zealots are able to get involved in the melee fighting.
Now, taking a look at the production tab, we do see 13 Mutalisks being morphed in here by our Zerg player, and those are going to be so effective against these Stalkers and Sentries as long as those Lings are in there. So he's making a total tech switch, and hopefully he will throw off his Protoss opponent with that tech switch.
There's a whole bunch of Zerglings as well moving in to try to take advantage of the hole that's been opened in the third base. The third base has just gone up for SaroVati, though the mineral-only fourth base is currently up for TGun.
Yes, indeed. So, very glad to see a player actually finally using that. He's going to have an influx of minerals, which is going to be really effective for making Zerglings, all the Zerglings that he could possibly need.
Yeah, the number of Zerglings that he is making, as you mentioned, is
I'm sorry, there's actually a Muta Harass going down at the natural. I'm not sure if you saw that. A lot of probes were being forced off of the line there.
But there's a Zerglin counterattack also going at the same time, or actually not counterattack, just harassment. Runs in and is now up to 29 worker kills. Because of the Mutalisk harass, all of those probes were just left right there in the third, and the Mutalists are continuing to poke around at that northern position, really taking advantage of his mobility to try to deal as much economic harass as he can.
Yes, indeed, and it does look like SaroVati will manage to hold on to his bases for now. Let's take a look at the units lost tab. Zerg is actually pulled behind as far as the units lost go, losing more resource-wise, but Protoss is the one who's behind in supply.
Though, despite being behind in supply, his tech is now starting to get pretty optimal for dealing with this kind of composition from his opponent, though the harassment is very harshly continuing. A whole bunch of sentries being taken out there by those Mutalisks, and these Zerglings actually might be able to run into the main, though a very fast warp and is barely able to prevent that from happening. Right now, SaroVati is just trying to stay alive until the Colossus with extended thermal lance can get out, because if he can get that Colossus, along with the 3 attack upgrade, in addition to a good number of Blink Stalkers, there'll be absolutely nothing that a Mutalisk Zergling composition can do.
Yeah, our Protoss player has an excellent composition as well as an upgrade advantage over his Zerg opponent. It does.
Though unfortunately, the harassment going into the natural is able to snipe the robotics bay before extended thermal lance is done.
That is so unfortunate for our Protoss player. That was going to be the one thing that really helped him to get back into this game. But TGun, of course, making excellent decisions in this match, takes out that Robo, and the facility rather, it just does excellent damage.
Yeah, in addition to that damage, he's also continuing to expand very nicely. He does have his 5th base almost completed in the kind of center, slightly left position in the north, and is moving in for more 2-pronged harassment, moving in with all of these Mutalisks in the natural, being chased away by a couple of Blink Stalkers, though at the same time, all of these Zerglings moving in and are able to get a Colossus basically for free.
Wow, that is such a huge loss for our Protoss player. These Zerglings were able to take out that Colossus so easily. Of course, really good force fields are going to smush a lot of Zerglings, and those will be taken out, though. Gosu TGun supply, look at it, 167 versus the 88 of SaroVati.
Also in the main, the Mutalisk swooped in and dealt even more economic damage. It's now 78 workers killed against just 8, and all of these gateways have been unpowered.
Wow, that is such a big deal. And SaroVati really just needs to make another pylon to get them powered back up, but he's not doing that quite yet. And it does look like SaroVati is in the middle of the map, going to get hugely surrounded by a ton of Zerglings. Muta's moving in here, and it looks like our Zerg might be able to clean this up. Of course, these Sarkers blinking up to the high ground, going to focus down these Mutas as best as they can, but I think the Mutas will be able to clean them up. It's so close right now.
Yeah, there's just too many Mutalisks on the field, despite all of the ground forces being wiped out for TGun. There's so many Mutalisks left, and him commenting that Mutas are very good units, and they can definitely do quite a bit of damage to a Protoss player who is not able to keep up with their numbers with Blink Stalkers, and that's the GG.
Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next game between these two players. And I must say that was a lot of fun to cast that game. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, there was very aggressive play from both players, trying to just get in each other's face as much as possible and really punish them for not being able to spread out their armies.
Yeah. So, looks like I'm loading this one up, and we will be right back as we head into the next game, guys.